This is the story of a small NGO that was started in the northern Peruvian city of Trujillo in the early part of 2001. The founders, Ana Teresa Rosel Grijalva, a civic-minded Peruvian woman, and her husband, for whom the NGO is named, started the NGO because they observed throughout South America and Latin America between 20 and 25% of the children of school age are not attending school. Bruce Peru, the NGO, was established to solve this problem. Ana Teresa Rosel Grijalva, the president, has operated the NGO for these 6 years. Here she is in one of our small schools. During our 5 years, we've opened in Trujillo 12 little schools like this. More than half of them are in very simple buildings in the poorest neighborhoods. We go out and find children who are not in school and persuade them and their parents, usually a single mother, to let us get their children educated. Our first job is to bring them up to the date, to the quality of education they need in order to pass the entrance exam to get into the national school at the age they are.
¿Desde cuándo estás con nosotros? Este año. ¿Cuándo estás con nosotros? Con 3 años. ¡Wow! 3 años. 3 años. ¿Ya sabes leer y escribir?
The next school is called Nueva Jerusalem. It's in a very simple house belonging to one of the ladies who's the mother of a child we educate. Here we have 35 children. In the first school we have over 40. These children are doing very well thanks to our Peruvian teachers and our international volunteers. We have roughly 30 of each in Peru, and the teachers are all licensed teachers. This is a volunteer, and they come and they spend between 1 month and several years volunteering with us to help get children off the street and into school. The first 2 examples are schools in people's houses. And this is a school we've established inside a regular state school. How this came about was the school started receiving our children, and they realized they were well prepared, and so they invited us to use one of their classrooms. And so now we work right inside the school with our teacher teaching our children, and as soon as they're ready, they'll go into the other part of the school, which means they're in the national school system. Here they are catching up with the children who have been attending school all these years. All these children you see either came to us illiterate or several years behind. Many of them had never been to school before. During these years, throughout Peru, we've opened nearly 40 schools, and we're in several cities with centers and schools doing exactly the same work.
Derecho a la alimentación, ¿verdad? Porque nosotros, ¿dónde están los valores? Están ahí, solamente pegados, pero no lo practicamos lo que es nada, ¿cierto?
El niño disfrutará de todos los derechos enunciados en esta declaración. Estos derechos serán reconocidos a todos los niños sin excepción alguna ni distinto.
We have also opened this work in other countries. We've opened it in Ecuador and in Panama. Slowly our work is spreading throughout Latin America. Our plan is to open in 2 new countries every year and to continue opening more schools in the countries where we already exist. In Peru, for instance, We have schools and centers in Trujillo, Cajamarca we've opened, Chiclayo, Chimbote, Huaraz, Cusco, and Lima.
Mental y mortal, espiritual y socialmente en forma saludable y normal, así como en condiciones de libertad y dignidad, al promulgar leyes con ese fin, la consideración fundamental a que ese niño atenderá será el interés superior del niño.
We try to get into public schools wherever possible because we know that as soon as our children are ready, the school will accept them. Here, Ana Teresa enters our center, which is right in the center of Trujillo. Here we also give classes in English and French in the evenings, and our volunteers teach them. This provides about 10% of the income needed to operate our programs. For a very low price, we teach Peruvians and other people to teach Spanish, to speak French and English for about $15 a month.
Me gusta. Oui, j'ai regardé. Ah, du temps. Ah, je n'ai pas eu le temps d'aller plus souvent.
Yeah? Okay? So it might be revision, but just tell me if you know at all. Okay. So, have you done colours? Los colores. Sí? ¿Está bien con los colores? Sí? Red, black, green, purple, pink, white. Okay, I want you to look at number 2. Yeah, exercise number 2. Yeah, you have positive statements. Positive statements. Yeah, number 2. And I want you to make the statements negative. So, for example, Iceland.
Each week, all our volunteers and our teachers come together for a weekly meeting where they give a report on their progress. Here represented are about half of the teachers and volunteers who serve in the city of Trujillo. This is the end of the school term, and so they're giving their final report on how the children are doing before they get put into national school. Ana Teresa is leading the meeting, and the volunteers, these are the teachers actually, are reporting on each of their schools. This is the teacher in Alto Trujillo, where there are roughly 40 students, and the other teachers will give their reports. We have active in Peru, right in Trujillo, 9 schools. We've opened a total of 12, but some of them are only open in the summertime when we get young children. We work in the summertime to get children of 5.5, 6, and 7 years old who have no possibility to go to school unless somebody prepares them and sponsors them. They're usually semi-abandoned or completely abandoned street children, or they live with abusive or extremely poor parents who have no possibility to put them in school and are usually uneducated themselves. We prepare them. We register them in school, we buy their uniforms and their school materials, and we work with them for a total of 2 years, visiting them every 4 to 6 weeks and holding a sort of club meeting where we reinforce our support for them. We check their grades, we give them rewards for good grades and for attendance. We check on their clothes, and our social workers check on their home situation. We also intervene with their teachers if they need help. This goes on for 2 years. Our record of success so far is of the children we find in the streets and put into our little schools, we get 80% of them into regular national school. Of the children we get into regular national school, after 2 years, 85% are still attending. So by experimenting and trial and error, we've come up with a system that we feel works very well and is a solution if it's applied on a large scale to the poor attendance of children in Latin America.
Y a mí me acompaña Emily, también hoy día es su último día porque ella viaja mañana, lo cual estoy muy agradecida. Esta semana ha sido muy fructífera en mi centro, hemos hecho manualidades en Papá Noeles, ayer fue la despedida de los niños y hoy hemos hecho una chocolatada, tanto padres como niños han participado, no ha alcanzado, ha sido muy poco, los pobres han llevado hasta los hijos que no eran del programa. Sí, como de costumbre, pero ha sido muy bueno la participación y también la despedida, porque la mayoría de mis niños se van al centro educativo. Es algo muy penoso. Bueno, yo lo siento más que ellos, ¿no? Porque no los voy a ver ya a los niños. Y bueno, eso es todo lo cuanto ha habido en el centro educativo.
Even though throughout Latin America school is officially free, in fact, it costs between $110 and $200 per year per child to put a child into public school. If a parent or a family are extremely poor, or if it's a street child who has no support at all, this makes school unavailable for them. That's why, part of the reason why so many children are out of school. Another reason is parental abuse. They put their children out to work, or the children are simply abandoned.
Todos se quedaron muy contentos hoy día y con muchas ansias de estar el sábado otra vez.
Yo me imagino.
The day after this, we hold our national Christmas parties. This Christmas party will be in Trujillo, but the same thing happens throughout Peru. We have gifts that we've prepared, and we have gifts that people in the community have prepared. We'll give them hot chocolate, usually dancing Santa Clauses, and games and dances, and they'll receive presents before they go home.
El sábado a las 8 de la mañana que está todo.
Here we are, getting ready to go into the Christmas party in Trujillo. We have children here representing most of the schools we have throughout Trujillo, from Cerro Pesquera, from Delicias, from Alto Trujillo, from Nuevo Jerusalén, from Alan Garcia, from Las Palmeras, from Milagros, where the children, before they came to us, worked in the garbage pits collecting refuse. We have children from all over the poorest neighborhoods of this city. And as this takes place, the same thing is happening in all our centers throughout Peru. Here, Ana Teresa receives the children and welcomes them, and we have a group who plays music and organizes games for them every year. In fact, so many children try to get into our Christmas party, and we only have a few hundred gifts available that we have to give out tickets. And in past years, they've even counterfeited the tickets, so we have to print tickets up with numbers on them so that we'll get exactly the number of children we have presents for. All the children have come. We've bussed them in from the poorest neighborhoods, and they've all come by special invitation. One of the things critical for a small country who's considered a poor country, in order for it to become a developing country, one of the most important factors is it needs to educate its children. And it's generally accepted in the circles of economists that in order for a country to go from poor to developing, it needs to invest 6% of its gross domestic product in education for a total of 10 years. We are hoping that Peru, the government has just promised to do this, we're hoping that they actually do it. In the meantime, we're collecting all the children we can find who are not in school and making certain they get educated. This is one of the most important ways that a poor country becomes a developing and therefore ultimately a successful country. Here Ana Teresa Rosell is being interviewed by the national television, and she's explaining the same thing that I'm explaining to you now. This year in Trujillo, we will have gotten 800 children into school, most of them for the first time. Throughout Peru, we have approximately 2,000 children in our programs. Our largest centers are Trujillo, Chiclayo, and Lima, followed by Cusco and Huaraz. The finances of Bruce Peru come mostly from contributions by its founders, also from a few contributions by ex-volunteers and by current volunteers, and by people abroad who find us on the website and decide to participate. And about 10% of our income comes from giving classes in our evening language academies. It's very important for us to have volunteers from other countries because this gives the dynamic that the program lacked in its early years when we were working only with national teachers and social workers and psychologists. The reason for this is that when someone comes from a rich country to a poor country and they see the state of the children, they want to do something about them right away. They also don't bring any prejudices with them. In each country, there's a hierarchy of the upper class, the middle class, and the lowest class, and they look down one on the other. When volunteers come from abroad, they don't have any of these feelings, and when they give these children unqualified love, the children give it back to them. And through this dynamic, the children are inspired to learn better, the teachers are inspired to copy the international volunteers and give their best for the children. You have to consider that the teachers grew up with these children all around them. So these are just some more poor children that they've seen all their lives, and it's not an emergency for them. But when international volunteers come with the enthusiasm to help the children right away, that's a great influence on the local teachers and social workers and psychologists we have. We also have school directors. It influences everything positively. We're able to get children who never knew how to read and write into school within 6 months. And this is going from illiterate to literate and knowing maths and getting into the 3rd or 4th or 5th grade and passing the entrance examinations to do this. We're extremely happy with the success of our program. We hope other people will copy it. We hope governments will take it on and do it themselves. But in the meantime, we carry on doing it with all of the volunteers and all of the staff we can afford. This is the end of the Christmas party. Anna Teresa is giving gifts to all of the children. Some of them are going to line up and try to get 2 gifts, but she knows who each child is and who's already been for a gift. And then they'll go home, and then we'll get them into school later, in about 3 months' time, when school starts in the Southern Hemisphere. We are very proud of the work Anna Teresa is doing in Peru.